It is a very niche kind of humor, though, which we'll get into. Niche.
We are the podcasters who think niche.
There's a shirt.
That's really good.
Wow, there's a shirt.
There's a shirt. Well, hello there, and welcome to a brand new episode of the Confused Breakfast Podcast. Do you remember the pure joy of a trip to the video rental store as a kid?
Yeah.
The excitement of walking down the aisles, browsing the names and the artwork, and finally picking out the movie you were going to take home with you. Sure, it's hard to beat the ease of the modern era and streaming platforms where you don't even have to leave your couch, but there was something truly special about making that trip, grabbing your favorite movie, and then runawaying without paying. On this podcast, we revisit and dissect some of our favorite childhood movies from that magical era to see if they still move us the way they did as kids. I'm your host, Sir Schulte, the Unchaste. And joining me as always, Sir Pryor, the dragger of coattails, and Sir Benz, the damager of knees. How the heck are you?
Dragger of coattails?
Dragger of coattails. Get it? Because trench coats.
I got a trench coat. Yeah. I like it. I like it a lot.
And AJ's damager of knees.
Damager of knees.
Yeah, and I am the Unchaste because I've had sex one time.
Hell yeah.
Because I have a child.
Nice.
And
Pretty cool, huh?
The Knights of Damaged Knee.
Really potent soldiers.
Oh, that's good. Give him. I'm already giving it to him.
All right. Why don't you guys ever give it to me?
Knights of Damaged
It's
Knee.
fine. It's fine.
Because it takes a while for your jokes to set in. They're so deep, multi-level.
It's right. That's right. It takes multiple viewings to get my.
It really does.
Keep going.
In fact, many times I will listen back to episodes and be like, I didn't laugh at that joke by Shaun. It was awesome. It was awesome.
That's very true.
It's very true.
I'm sitting here in dead silence, and I'm just like, yeah. I hope this is getting across to my two friends.
He's just thinking he's just not funny.
Well, boys, let's continue on our month-long series of movies from the 1970s. On this episode, we will discuss a movie that catapulted the British comedy troupe Monty Python into the echelons of the comedy world. The definition of a true cult comedy classic that is still revered today, a movie that no woman I have ever dated or married can stand to watch. We're, of course, talking about 1975's Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
It's Wednesday morning. It's early. Way too early for you. You're probably sitting in traffic, like me. Why not have your coffee and bacon with the Confused Breakfast Boys? Good morning, boys.
Morning.
Damn, dang it.
And for those of you looking to find this movie, as of the recording of the episode at the end of July 2022, looks like you're going to have to buy it.
What?
I didn't find it anywhere. Did you?
Was it not on Netflix?
What?
I think that's where I watched it.
I'm pretty sure it's on Netflix.
What is wrong with my
Yeah.
TV? If I search for a movie, it's like, I'm sorry, it's not there.
I searched it on Google and I say watch movie and it's like Netflix right there.
What?
There.
Okay, then just don't listen to what
Well-
I own it on DVD, so I pulled that out.
Oh, you
and
did?
watched it,
Okay,
yeah.
well that's even better.
Because I was like, I'm not buying this.
You're
it's
a
on
good-
Netflix.
you're a
What
good
the-
citizen.
My Samsung TV search thing's stupid.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well,
Ugh.
in order to properly dissect and review this movie with a modern eye, we must first discuss it with pure nostalgia. AJ, tell us the first time you saw this movie, what your nostalgic rating is.
It took me forever to watch this movie, guys.
Really?
That being said, it was from the 70s. So I didn't have, it's not like I had to watch it right then and there.
You had a while.
I had a while, but I took a while. I probably didn't see this movie until I was well into my 20s.
Wow.
Damn,
Okay.
To be completely honest.
Cool.
And I watched it a couple of times, got the quotes, and the quotes were kind of funny to me. For some reason, it just didn't hit like I thought these movies always do for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like everybody, but I think the problem is everyone's just like, dude, Monty Python, it's the funniest movie I've ever seen, bro. Dude, the Knights of Knee, you haven't seen? Oh my god, dude. It's the greatest
right.
movie.
It was the flesh wound.
Tis but a flesh. Oh man, it's so funny. You gotta watch it, bro. You gotta watch it.
Coconuts.
And that was the whole thing, and I didn't get it.
I know.
You
actually started to despise it.
I did.
Yes.
I know you're like
Absolutely.
that, and I get that about you.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah, I get all weird and hipster about bull crap like that.
I don't
know if
know.
that's a hipster thing,
I
but
don't-
it's like, I don't know.
You can call it that, but it's something else.
I just want to be different. I don't want to like it. No. But I guess I got it for Christmas actually. And as I was like, cool. And I felt bad because the person who got it for this gift exchange was super hyped on it, but it
Right.
also came with a horse. So
Which the movies didn't.
yeah, it came with a horse, aka it came with the coconut.
yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Do you have them?
They are around here. Okay, so can I tell a really funny story really fast?
Elisha was telling me this last night.
Okay.
Yes.
So Sean already knows it, so we don't have to hear it.
All
No,
right,
yeah.
that's fine.
I'm joking. No, tell it.
No, basically, so I texted my brother. I was like, "Hey, man, I need a massive favor." And but keep in mind, this is like 12:30 at night, like 1 o'clock. And he's like, "Yeah, dude, what's up?" He's like, "Are you okay?" And I said, "No. Can you go see if you're out at mom and dad's? Can you go see if you can find the coconuts for Holy Grail?" And I'm like, I realize now this is not the right time to ask for a massive favor. I just wanted to get the coconuts. He couldn't find them.
Damn. See,
I
that
was
would have
like,
been your
I
prop.
felt so
Yeah, I
bad.
know.
That would have been your prop,
Exactly.
and you would have had it.
I wanted it here so bad for us, but anyways, guys, I guess I would say that my nostalgic rating, I'm gonna give this a 2.
Wow.
Yeah, that might be one of your lower ones yet. Sean,
Yeah.
what about you? Nostalgic rating.
I've literally seen this movie one other time in my life besides this rewatch, and it was when I was, it had to have been like 2002, 2003, maybe 9-ish. And I loved it. I watched it with my friend Jordon in his grandma's basement, and it was, I loved all the jokes. I loved, it was just like kind of finding out what humor that I liked, and I didn't know it at the time, but
Right.
rewatching, I'm like, oh yeah,
That's my humor.
This is kind of my ridiculous, stupid, niche humor.
Yeah.
I think.
Niche.
Me.
Neat. Yeah, nice.
Cool.
I'd have to say probably back then, probably 5.
Fiver,
Yeah,
right
I
off
just
the bat,
liked
just
it.
kind of basic.
Yeah.
For me, I always loved this movie. This is something like my family always watched. Like my dad, my brother, my mom, we always used to watch all the Life of Brian's, like one of my favorite movies ever. Growing up Catholic, that's kind of weird to say that, but it's an amazing movie for me as a kid. First watch, I did see it very young. The drawings always made me laugh. Like I
Yeah.
remember the animation scenes. The coconuts were just so weirdly funny to me as a kid. Be like, it's funny. It's a coconut. But as I got older, I definitely continued to have an appreciation for it. I have this funny story. Back before movie theaters would show old movies, the Collins Road Theater here in town was the first movie I ever heard of that would show an older movie.
Yeah.
And they sold tickets to Monty Python and the Holy Grail. And I was like 25. Me and my buddy went and we're like, dude, it'd be so cool if we could like drink beers in there and watch it. Dude. And so we got soccer socks and we put in like 2 tall boys in our socks and walked into the theater thinking we're so cool.
That's
We sat
all
down.
us. That's all us.
That's
Sorry.
all us. And we sat down, theater's packed, and we think we're like so cool. And right as like the lights go down, you hear like from all over
Everybody.
the theater. Cans are rolling down the aisles.
Fuck
and
yeah.
it was like one of the coolest movie experiences I've ever been to.
Nice.
Seeing this with a bunch of people going, yeah. But nostalgically, first time watching, just like I'm an 8. Like I love the movie.
Yeah, okay.
Nostalgically, but that was the first watching.
Sweet.
So definitely improved from there. So executive producer David Gould, he says there are a few movies I can remember first viewing so vividly as Monty Python and the Holy Grail. I was snuggling up with my high school girlfriend on a Saturday with her brother sitting just ahead to ensure he didn't witness the awkward making out between 2 nerdy teenagers. The title card started and the confusion built as I had no idea what was in store for me. But what I thought was going to be another night satiating my carnal teenage lust turned into me just pushing her away from me to wipe the tears from laughing this movie brought to me.
Nice.
I lived, breathed, and quoted this movie, so my nostalgic rating would have to be a 9.5.
Damn.
Gorgeous.
So that is a 6.12.
Yeah, that's all over the place for us.
It is. They were as low as a 2, as high as that. So 6.12
Wow.
takes us slightly better than The Mummy, slightly below Planes, Trains, and Automobiles for a nostalgic rating.
Okay.
Okay.
So before we move on to Shaun's informational detailed segment, I got to tell you a story. The last couple days, I've been having like really shitty headaches, like thinking I'm sick or whatever.
Bummer, man.
Couldn't figure out why. I was spending an absolute shit ton of time on the computer lately. It was getting ready for these episodes. It was preparing for the big show that my band just played, and I was just like always on my computer.
Yeah.
And I realized that I hadn't been wearing my daytime Felix Grays.
Yeah.
And if you don't know what Felix Gray is, they're blue light filtering glasses. I have 2 pairs. I have one that's just non-prescription that I wear when I'm at the computer. Wasn't wearing them. So this was yesterday morning. I popped them on when I was working, and it's like headache was gone. Now, I'm not like, there's some very scientific stuff out there that will tell you the harmful effects of blue light on you. I'm not a scientist. I believe what I'm told, and it's like, okay, sure. But like my experience was that I was having headaches because I was on the computer too much, and then I put on Felix Gray blue light glasses, and then they went away.
And
so, like, I'm not telling you that that's an actual experiment,
Maybe
but
it's
like,
not even science. Maybe it's magic.
it could just be pure magic.
Just saying, man.
Placebo effect. I don't know.
Yeah.
But, I mean, Felix Gray is incredible. They basically have these blue light filtering glasses that they have prescription, non-prescription readers that will reduce the effects of blue light, harmful effects on your eyeballs. And it's pretty incredible. I mean, we love them. We all have multiple pairs. They're stylish, affordable. They look like normal eyewear. Shaun's wearing his pair right now. Looks like normal glasses. There's no weird tint or glare to it. People don't even know you're wearing them, but you'll be glad you're wearing them once you realize all the negative effects that the blue light has on you. So don't be afraid to reach out to us. We'll tell you about what fits and styles and colors we have. We'll tell you what our experiences are. Yeah. Non-prescription, prescription available. Go to FelixGrayGlasses.com/confused. That's FelixGray Glasses.com/confused. Free shipping, free returns, free exchanges. And remember, you buy a pair of these, your money gets you a cool product, and it also helps support this podcast. So that's really cool. That's the beauty of having sponsors.
Yep, 100%.
Cool.
See the future. I gotta say one little anecdote.
No, I'm sorry. We're moving along.
No. I watch my YouTube when I go to bed, and if I don't have my glasses on, I am awake until 1 a.m. and that's not good because I have to work at 7 a.m. And when I put my Felix Grays on, I put those on and I'm watching my YouTube video. It takes me like 10 minutes to fucking pass out.
No, it's true because they say blue light fucks with your REM and it does not allow you to fall asleep. So if you're negating that, you can watch as much YouTube as you want and still fall asleep.
You can't listen to REM while you're wearing your Felix Grays.
Right on.
Shaun, pertinent, important informational details of the movie. What do you got, bro?
Produced by Mark Forster and Michael White. Written by Graham Chapman, John Cleese, Eric Idle, Terry Gilliam, Terry Jones, Michael Palin. Cinematography by Terry Bedford. There's so many Terrys in this.
Can you believe that?
Edited by John Hackney. Production design by Roy Smith. Wanted to get him in there because I think it's kind of spectacular what he did on this movie. Directed by Terry Gilliam and Terry Jones. Their first directing job. Cast: Graham Chapman, Eric Idle, John Cleese, Terry Gilliam, Terry Jones, Michael Palin, Connie Booth, Carol Cleveland, and Neil Innes. Having a lot of success on their television show, the comedy group were in their 3rd or 4th season when they decided to make a film. Originally, the screenplay was half medieval times and half present day, but the group decided to focus it more on medieval and specifically the Holy Grail. For Terry Gilliam and Terry Jones, the pair had never directed anything before, so the two learned as they went along in the production, which is just like magic to me. Like you go to Scotland to film a movie for the first time ever, and you're just kind of like learning as you do it.
Dude, didn't one of them say that his first scene directing of this movie, he yells action and the camera breaks?
Yes.
It's like, cool.
It's awesome. It's our thing. Like you plan, you do all this writing, you get all the locations, you get everybody involved, and then once you're there, you say action. Once you put a camera on something, it fucking falls apart. That's what happens.
Always.
Guess where funding came from? Peculiarly, the production was invested by Led Zeppelin, Pink Floyd, Jethro Tull's Ian Anderson, friend Michael White, the cricket team Heartaches, and 3 record companies, including Charisma Records, the company that distributed the Python's comedy albums.
And band Genesis.
So
Genesis
the
was
Genesis
in there too,
as well, yes.
So these people literally said, we think you guys are awesome, take our money.
Well, so here's why. With that film, the film had a budget of $410,000 with those contributing rock stars. They contributed that because at that time tax for like the more rich in England was very, very high, so they had that as a tax write-off.
Cool.
For them.
So they're like, we like these guys.
Yep.
We can actually support something cool
Yeah.
while also saving money.
It's badass.
That's really badass.
Amazing.
Monty Python shot mostly in and around Scotland with Duan Castle, Glencoe, and Castle Stalker. Band name, thank you. Being
Castle Stalker.
being a main set pieces. They had trouble like kind of securing the castles and everything. That was mostly like the budget, but
Wow.
as we see, we got them. With the budget so low, the production couldn't actually afford horses, so they straight up made a joke out of it and had the performers mime the act of riding instead.
That is so dumb, but it's like that's one of the most iconic things in this movie. If they had actually been on horses, is this a whole different movie from the start?
I mean, they make a joke out of not having enough money. That is creativity.
Yeah.
Like, that's to a T. Like, I think Rob Zombie, to me, it probably said somewhere else, but Rob Zombie said it. He's like, more limitations make you more creative. If you just throw money at it.
Oh, true. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Holy Grail was released in the UK on April 3rd, 1975, and in the US on April 27th, 1975. The film made $5 million overall and has become a comedy classic.
Well, we
That is
know
what I got.
we know that you guys all have at least one friend or family member who loves this movie just as much as us. And just as much as you do. So hit that little share icon.
Why not?
Right now you're on your little podcast app. There's a little share icon. You just hit it, and you can straight message it to someone, say, listen to this. You got to. Sharing's the best way you can help support us. You can also go to confusedbreakfast.com, buy T-shirts, follow us on social medias. And
I hear that website's pretty cool.
social murders.
Yeah.
And if you're caught up on all the episodes, you're looking for more. You're like, come on, we need more. Join us on Patreon, patreon.com/confusedbreakfast. There's like 70 plus hours of bonus audio content, cool extra stuff about the movies. You can vote on upcoming movies. You can be on the private Discord server.
Yeah.
We chat about stuff. Go check it out, patreon.com/confusedbreakfast.
You do that, you get an episode Wednesday and Thursday. Come on.
You dummies. Well, up next we have AJ. He did some research for us, and he's got ratings and reviews to share. What you got, man?
Bring it in hot. We're going to
The Tomato Meter.
Gross.
97%.
Again.
This is three movies
Three
in a row on the Tomato Meter.
Hitting
Critical rating 97%. So right now that's Big, Ghostbusters, Groundhog Day, Roger Rabbit, Jaws, and Holy Grail, all 97%.
Wow.
97%.
Yep.
Certified fresh.
And 98 was Princess Bride,
Yes.
right?
Yep.
Okay.
Mm,
No, I don't know what'll top that.
I have no
I
clue.
don't know.
Citizen Kane.
I
Next week.
don't want that. The audiences agree at 95%. And then IMDb rolls in at a nice clutch 8.2.
That is number 5 of all the movies we have done. That is the fifth highest one, just below Reservoir Dogs, just above Jurassic Park.
Nice.
Is
Wow.
where that falls on IMDb.
Damn.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. Critics, they loved it. Like we just said, the Baltimore Sun, it's still the holy grail of crazy comedy. Empire said, a medieval on your ass laugh riot. And the Chicago Tribune, an incredibly silly film of great humor, brilliant design, and epic insanity. Like one of the only lowest ones on here, 80, is has a sense of humor that is intellectual, even academic at heart, said the
Wow.
Los Angeles Times.
Okay.
I mean, so all over the place. It's just like everybody loves it.
Yeah.
Does
Everybody love it?
No.
Yep, here we go. Spoilers.
Spoilers.
If you're looking for a movie, don't watch this.
This is most overrated comedy. That's actually one that I'm about to read.
Okay.
2 out of 10. Most overrated. This has to be the most overrated comedy I have ever seen. All the 10 stars are most definitely from all the nostalgic geeks out there. It is guaranteed that those who find this movie funny are either children or people with very dull humor, no intelligent jokes at all.
Okay.
But it's not like
All
child's humor.
This is very the opposite of child's humor, kind of, I feel.
It is a very niche kind of humor, though, which we'll
Niche.
get into.
Niche.
Niche.
We are the podcasters who think niche.
There's a shirt.
That's really good.
Wow, there's a shirt.
There's a shirt. Make it, AJ.
All right.
Not gonna.
No. 2 out of 10. Yawn, said the Big Daddy.
Yawn.
Yawn. I love that.
God damn it.
But I'm reading this one because of the this says knee D's. I don't know what that means. I was pretty bored at the whole movie. A bunch of people have told me how funny it was, but thinking back, they were all white guys with no rhythm. The movie was silly, but not funny. It was kind of painful to watch. I couldn't wait for it to end. Then again, maybe my hopes were just too high going into the movie. Hey,
So is this you? This
I
is
get
kinda
that part.
your pinpoint,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. So
No rhythm, no rhyme, no bobsled time. You know.
I like that.
Come on now.
please.
We're having fun. We're having a good time.
No, we're having a great time.
This is really fun.
I never know if you're serious when he says that. I always feel like he's not having fun. No, he's like, no, we're having fun. No, we're not.
This is a highlight of my year. Every time I do this.
Okay. Well, that's 1 out of 10.
Cool segment, AJ.
Thanks, guys. Cool segment, AJ. 1 out of 10. Really, people? Best comedy ever? This is the first time I write a review. I can tell. I couldn't help it. I really can't understand how so many people find this movie to be great. It's almost unwatchable. I managed to watch half of it. It's one of the worst movies I've watched so far in my life.
I'm 10.
I am 10.
Oh,
That's
man.
it. Like that's like people go out of their way to write these things.
I know. They're always like, this movie was such a waste of time. Let me go waste some more time to tell other people about it. I don't understand.
You really think they're just doing the world
They
a
do.
favor?
They seriously are like, someone's going to read this.
Yeah, they're like, oh God, can't wait to save so many people. so
Divert
much
your
time.
eyes, because this sucks.
Yeah. I also
a shirt.
don't know how to write.
I'm also an it.
Yeah.
I am the stop sign of this movie.
Sorry, folks.
Detour,
Sorry.
turn around.
Sorry, folks. Movie sucks.
This movie sucks. Moose outside to told you. IMDb review should have told you.
Yeah, we need a John Candy movie. Obviously, he's been coming up 2 weeks in a row.
Oh. Good job, everybody.
Guess what?
Is that all you got?
IMDb review should have told you. That's all I'm gonna do.
The only funny part about it is the hand.
Sorry, folks.
Are you done with your segment there?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, before we get started on the full breakdown of Monty Python and the Holy Grail with the Modern Eye, I'm going to break down the fourth wall. I'm going to tell you how I personally prepare for each episode that we do. Things are different now, guys. Having a baby. So
You
with
got
the
a
birth
baby.
of my young daughter, Willa, now,
You can no longer be an alcoholic.
I made time for it. So I'm still on the couch. I've got my cat in my lap.
Thank you.
And I've got Willa in my left arm, and I've got my Cedar Ridge whiskey in my right arm. And I'm just like, and I just kind of go. And of course, now I have to watch movies at like 0 volume with closed captions on.
Yes.
But it's cool. It's cool. And the reason that we love these movies is like the warm nostalgia that these movies bring, the memories they bring back. And for me, I think whiskey is such a catalyst to that. I think whiskey is one of those things that like makes things, it enhances warm feelings and nostalgias. I mean, that's why we're doing this podcast. We love to feel that way. And for me, the whiskey does the same thing. What?
I was gonna say, for me, it's popcorn. For you, it's whiskey. That's fine.
Love
We've each got our vices, I
We
guess.
got our vices. And you know, obviously on this podcast, the choice of whiskey is Cedar Ridge Distillery. From their flagship bourbon, quintessential American single malt, even their collaboration with Slipknot.
Fuck yeah, dude. Eeyore.
We are sudsing today, guys. It's not a secret that we are drinking Cedar Ridge whiskey right now. All of our local fans know, they already know this is the #1 selling bourbon in the state of Iowa, 2 years running. But some of the listeners in the rest of the country, maybe you haven't heard of them. Maybe you've never had a chance to get them. Cedar Ridge is one of the fastest growing whiskey distilleries in the entire country. They won Whiskey Distillery in 2017, Whiskey Distillery of the Year. So it makes complete sense that we are partnered with this beautiful company because we were named Podcast of the Year.
I think we were.
Oh, yeah.
in our minds.
Yeah.
Someone can nominate us for that if you want to.
Please. Yeah, podcast awards. Hit us up.
But please, we beg you, this Cedar Ridge Distillery, they support this podcast directly. So the best thing you can do to also help out is to go out and buy some Cedar Ridge whiskey.
100%.
Help this great company out. If you're in Iowa, go to a store, pick some up today. If you're elsewhere, or if you got like a whiskey fan in your life that loves it, you can order it straight to your door. Go to cedarridgewhiskey.com. You can even pop into your local like liquor stores and be like, get Cedar Ridge whiskey, you dummy. You need to sell it here.
Yeah.
Go ahead and pester them. That's
Tell
all I'm
them-
saying,
tell them
really.
to get it.
Tell 'em to get it.
CedarRidgeWhiskey.com.
That's all I want is cedarridgewhiskey.com. You guys go buy some.
Get it.
It makes
drink-
everything better, and I don't know how sad that is.
Well,
But
enjoy responsibly. Well, boys, what do you say we grab our trusty steeds and head out on a quest with our friends? We will surely run into lots of mischief, but we will most certainly finally be able to answer the age-old question, do coconuts migrate?
dude,
I feel happy! Here we go.
All right.
hell yeah.
In AD 1932, King Arthur and his squire Patsy traveled Britain searching for men to join the Knights of the Round Table. Along the way, Arthur debates whether swallows could carry coconuts, passes through a town infected with the Black Death, recounts receiving Excalibur from the Lady of the Lake to two anarcho-syndicalist peasants. I didn't write that. Defeats the Black Knight and observes an impromptu witch trial. So much off the bat happens in this
Mike,
movie.
I have a question for you.
'Kay.
You are a titles guy. You are an intro titles guy.
Yes.
What do you think of these?
I love it.
Okay.
Because it sets the stage. First of all, it's so weird. I don't get some of these older movies. Maybe this was just a Monty Python thing, or maybe this was the old days. Like, to have all the opening credits at the beginning was maybe a thing. Was it, Shaun? Like,
I mean, yeah, it was a choice sometimes.
Okay.
Yeah.
By the way, at the end, there's just nothing. It just ends.
Right.
but to be able to get through, normally we talk shit about opening credits because it's just like, get on with it.
Yeah.
Just like Monty Python says.
Yeah.
But this like gives you, it allows them to get through the credits while also like setting up this dumb humor that you're about to
Yes.
experience. In
Right.
this.
Yes.
And there's some funny moments. Like, did you read it? It says, when it switches to the moose part, or no, when the moose starts taking over, it says suggestive poses for moose suggested by, and then it gives a name.
yeah.
It's so stupid.
It's like moose nose wiper or something
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that. Like, why is this happening?
Sorry about the subtitles guy. We sacked them.
Yeah.
Sorry about the sacked subtitles guys that we sacked. We sacked them by
People
the
responsible for the sack.
It's like, sorry if we changed the credits like halfway through. It's like goes to like mariachi music.
because as I'm going through these names, like in my segment, like telling you like who wrote this and who's in the cast, it's the same people. So you're just like, it doesn't matter. We're gonna make a joke out of
They
it.
made a whole joke out of it. And
Yeah.
it's fun. I
Yeah.
think it's funny. They are the type of people that go, here's a funny joke. Let's just keep
Let's
pushing.
keep it going.
Let's just keep pushing that until it's not funny, and then it's
And
funny
then it's
again.
funny again.
Like, that's what they do.
That is my kind of comedy. Where it's because they're even long.
Yeah,
Like this is an hour and a half movie,
Yeah.
and this is maybe 10 minutes.
It might not be that long, but it's.
It's up there.
I should have measured it out.
Yeah, it's up there. Like it's they commit to it.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
This is again, I don't know why like upon rewatch I didn't enjoy this more.
Come on, man.
I'm sorry, like I don't know why I didn't enjoy it more. Like, cause like the moment that they crest the hill with the coconuts, and then he just goes up onto the wall, and he's just like, it's like, are you going to tell your lord? He's like, he just keeps like talking over him, and he's also very much physically, literally over him.
Yeah.
like he just keeps talking over him.
They're great shots from
Yeah.
down and up. Those are great shots,
Yes.
dude.
He's just like, are you suggesting coconuts migrate? Well, I mean,
Are you
it's
suggesting coconuts
migrate. He's like, well, you could have two swallows that they're carrying it on a string, and you got
No,
two. It's
no.
like, what are you talking about?
This whole thing, and like as soon as he came over the hill, and I realized that they had no horse, and it was the coconuts. I'm like,
yeah.
how is this not the greatest thing ever made at the time? You know, like that's definitely my kind of comedy, and I want to get it out of the way right now. Like without this movie, farce comedies are
think so?
never a thing. Like
Yeah.
Wet Hot American Summer is a treasure to us.
Oh, my God.
This is like niche comedy. Like this is an in-joke between all of these guys.
Yeah.
And I know they've had their show for 3 or 4 years
Right.
at this point, so they have an audience. And so they could be pulling from that as well. But it seems like to me that they're like, we find this shit funny.
Yeah.
And we're just going to do it.
We're just going to do it. And I love that. You know,
It's contagious when people are like,
yes,
when like we associate it with like music a lot because we take movies and music, and we've all been in bands, and like it's that moment when you've been in a band and you're playing in front of a crowd that's maybe kind of hostile, or
Sure.
there's just not that many people there. If you show fear to be like, oh man, what are people thinking about? They will feed off that.
You're
They'll be
right.
like, fuck these guys.
Yeah.
But if you just go, fuck that
I don't
audience.
care.
We don't care. We're just going to put on a good show. They will then feed on that. And it's almost the
Yeah.
same way for this comedy. Like,
You're
they're
totally
like,
right.
you going to come along for the ride or not? Because we're going.
great.
And we don't
analogy.
care if you're there.
That's great. Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah. This whole argument, I'm going to keep pointing this out as we go. This movie is like a prequel to modern social media. The world we live in now. Like this whole debate is a social media argument.
It is.
It's people just sitting there talking for no reason, chiming in for no reason, thinking they're the ones that know about something that doesn't matter.
And all that's missing
Wow.
from this, it is.
It is.
You're 100% right.
And this guy's just trying to, he's like, okay, move on. I need to get an answer to this question. And
Yeah.
they're like, no,
No,
we're
no.
not done talking
I'm
about
actually,
this.
I think I need to be right on this.
And then it even moves on to Dennis, one of my favorite guys of the movie. Dennis is the one being oppressed. Or he's like, come see
Yes.
the violence that had in the system. I'm being oppressed.
I'm being arrested.
Or
I'm being
repressed.
oppressed.
Or he says repressed, I
Repressed.
think. Yeah. But he's like inserting politics into
Yes.
something that doesn't, like, we're not talking
It doesn't
politics.
need to be in
And
it.
he's doing it.
Yes.
He's like, no, I need to tell you about all the stuff I've been
didn't-
reading on the internet. Right?
I
Like,
did not think about that. That is
there's
brilliant.
even more stuff in it. Like, they were almost a prequel to like predicting just how people suck.
Yeah.
Like the modern world sucks, and then no one's listening to King Arthur. He's like, no, I'm here. I'm your king. I really need to find this. They're like, well, now hold on. We got to talk about this.
I didn't vote for you.
They're packing mud.
Yeah.
They're like mud farmers or something.
There's some great filth over here. It's like the Billy Madison bit. It's like, here's a nice piece of shit.
That is such a funny moment to me. I've always laughed so hard. And he goes, excuse me, old woman. And he goes, I'm 37. What? Well, I'm 37. You can't exactly call me old. And also, I'm a man. It's like, okay, I don't care.
It's like, technically, yeah, when you think about it, like 37 isn't that old. I mean, that's Mike, right?
King of the Who.
Bring out your dead.
Okay.
Bring out your dead.
Bring out your dead. Like, as far as like this movie is like a farce
Yes.
of like these times and like just like the whole biblical Holy Grail kind of thing, the epic movie, you could say. I think that the split of direction of Terry Jones and Terry Gilliam was kind of a brilliant
Didn't
marriage.
they literally just go, okay, you do that scene, I'll do that scene?
Terry Gilliam, Terry Jones was more like a comedic guy. He's like, he wanted the bits to be perfect and everything. And Terry Gilliam was like, actually the setting and how we frame and get the audience involved into the bit is as important as the bit.
Yeah.
And with that juxtaposition together, I think you don't have these bits working
Right.
at all.
Yeah. 100%.
And Terry Gilliam's gone on to be a prolific director, Brazil and everything like that. I think that his detail, the production design is staggering.
Yeah.
Like for 1975 and the budget that they had,
I know.
the costumes and everything, and like all the mist everywhere and like all the mud, all the filth.
Oh,
is
that street
great.
looks so gross.
Yeah.
It
Disgusting.
looks
It's like,
so gross.
how do you know he's royalty? Oh, he doesn't have shit all over.
That was improv,
Yes.
apparently. Oh, and the best part is that at the end of the movie, he gets like a bedpan of
Yes,
shit
yeah.
dropped on him. Dude, bring out your dead is probably
Bring
like,
out your dead.
cling,
Cling.
bring out your dead.
like I'm not dead. It's like
I don't want to go on the
what's
cot.
that? I don't want to go on the ground. Well, would you just wait around for a couple minutes? If you
I'm sorry, I can't do that. It's against regulation.
It gets regulation.
I feel happy.
Yeah, that was so good. See, these movies are hard to do
I
for
know,
us because
I know.
we try and write jokes, but the jokes are already written.
The jokes are
written,
already
man.
written, so we'll just redo it for you.
Yeah.
All we're doing is just reiterating, hey, this is a funny fucking movie.
Hey, in case you haven't seen it in a while, just go check it out.
It's pretty funny. We can't come up with anything better.
The Black Knight thing is really funny to me because they're these subtle things. Like I try to be I've seen this movie a million times, so I was trying to be more critical of the subconscious stuff that I don't realize. Like I listen to the jokes, they're funny, but this one when they're and then it would switch to the Black Knight fighting a guy, and the music went away, and it was like, and then I think that was a brilliant, weird choice.
Yeah.
Like, why not just have the music still playing, and they would just switch back and forth, but the music would stop when it was like,
I think at the same time they're commenting on like the parliaments of what the story they're telling of the times. They're also commenting on like cinema in general.
Okay.
Because I really truly think that they are fans of movies. Obviously, they're fans of like comedy, but they also see comedy in like Ben-Hur.
Okay.
You know, they see comedy in these like epic movies that they've seen before, and they're farsing them.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like there's this epic. These are your heroes, but then this is like the people they're gonna meet here soon. You know, I think they're definitely commenting on their, especially when they say like, oh, that's the guy from Scene 24. Obviously, I mean, come on, it's so good.
And this Black Knight thing's so funny to me because he's guarding this bridge, and it's literally like a 4-foot gap.
Yeah.
Like you could just go a half mile around the corner and just cross.
Yeah.
You don't have to fight the Black Knight. It's not like some mega thing that this is the only way to cross.
Right. Exactly.
And then he's got a little tent behind him
Yeah.
that he like clearly lives in. So like, what if he's going to the bathroom, or what if you just sit back in the bushes and wait for him to go to sleep? At some point, he's got to go in his little tent and sleep or take a shit or something
Exactly.
like that. So you just wait.
He's got to keep his quota up, man.
Got to keep his quota.
People were idiots back then.
Oh man. Well, and I feel like you have this joke, and we wouldn't have like Robin Hood Men in Tights playing at the same thing later on down the road, you know, and Mel Brooks pulling from this with the Little John fight.
100%.
And yeah, you're absolutely right.
We wouldn't
It's
have Zucker Brothers if it wasn't for this.
You don't, man. You don't have Airplane. You don't have Naked Gun. You know, that kind of stuff.
So the success of this movie allowed people to feel the freedom to do stuff like this.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think so. I think it was all kind of happening at the same time too,
Yeah.
because Airplane was kind of 70s and stuff. But you know, I think that the British sense of humor as well was also a deep part of like desensitizing you, especially to like violence and comedy too.
Yeah.
Especially when he's like getting dismembered and stuff.
Yeah, because it's funny. It's hilarious.
It's like, oh, this is comical. You've described it before as people are laughing and somebody's like dying. You know what I mean? Like, why is this a thing? And this really absolutely plays on that. Like, and it was really gruesome. Doesn't he run the other night like through the face or something?
Yeah.
And you're just like, oh my god,
Blood spurts out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like I have a note. I'm just like the juxtaposition of violence and comedy. I think that's me seeing this at such a young age melded that together and was like, oh, that can be really funny in a certain context. You know, if you tell it in a certain way, it can be really, really funny. And not just horrifying all at the same time.
The violence inherent in the system.
System of a Down.
Like, and I always come back because thinking about one of the comments made in one of our esteemed reviewers that I read, that they're thinking like this is childish comedy, and it's like
it is though.
It's childish, but it's very smart.
It is
because of the dialogue. Like they rattle these things off, and they're talking about like socioeconomic problems, and just rattling it off as if it's just normal conversation.
If you think that's childish, I don't know who you are, because if you can't see the subtext in that, then you are not smart. Then you're not getting it.
Well,
you can't expect to wield supreme power because some watery tart threw a sword at you.
And it's true. It's like making fun of the British monarchy. Like, oh, cool. It's just because you were born in that bloodline makes you the ruler.
Yeah.
Some watery tart.
I mean, if I went around saying I was an emperor because some moistened bint had loved to scimitar at me, people would put me away.
It's true.
That's not child. You can't call that childish because of how smart it is.
But then that same guy is packing mud on top of mud. So, like, it is. It's hilarious because, look, he's playing in the mud. Here's some good filth.
Here's some good filth.
Well, and then even, so, like, the witch stuff.
I mean, even before this, like, as they set this scene up, you can see a guy connecting coconuts to a swallow.
Yeah.
I'm like, yes.
I realized that this time around that they were setting that up and they were.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
See, that's one thing. Like you suggest that in dialogue, and then you show it physically in a shot. It is so good.
Oh,
and they never let it go. They just keep coming back.
It just always keeps coming.
Keep coming back to it. But yeah, you get into like the witch scene. Like that's a take on like modern cancel culture almost too. Like they're basically like we want to make this lady a witch, and that's so funny to me because it's so dumb. This whole thing is so dumb about and what also floats little tiny rocks, like but then they get to this roundabout way and you're like, oh well, that doesn't make sense, but then she actually does wave the same as the duck.
As a duck,
and she says it's a fair cop. That's what she says. Do you know what that in British slang? She like they weigh him out and she goes, it's a fair cop. It's basically an admission that the speaker has been caught doing wrong and deserves punishment. So she was a witch. Even though this stupid thing
is happening.
She was a witch.
Yeah. But they didn't really have any proof up to this point necessarily.
They put the nose on her.
Yeah, they put the
they put this on me.
She's just a groovy chick.
Yeah.
That's the kind of women I like. I'm telling you.
And she's wearing a hat. It's like
it's an oil can or something like that.
I want to talk about too also in this scene because like from our beginning scenes to this, you can see multiple actors portraying multiple characters. And how great that is. This is just like everything that I wanted in high school to be. Like after seeing this movie and like Wet Hot American Summer and movies like that, you were just like, I wanted to make skit movies.
Right.
And like Airplane and like all those farce comedies and everything. I wanted to do this kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I think they do it brilliantly by just like, well, we don't have a budget, so we'll all just play.
And they don't really hide
several
it. They're
characters.
just kind of like, yeah, that's
exactly.
the same guy.
Yeah, we'll just put a mustache.
But you
on
buy
it.
it. You're like, oh, cool, that's a different guy.
It's so funny, and I think in that scene too, while they're like debating the witch, I don't know if it's John Cleese or not.
John Cleese,
he's like biting his scythe.
No, that's Eric Idle.
Okay, he's biting his scythe, and he's actually holding back laughter at that point. It's like biting his scythe. I'm like, oh, because it'd be so much fun to make a movie like this.
Oh, no, dude.
John Cleese earlier in that scene, like turned his head to the side real quick, like because he was just trying to, I can't show my friends that I'm about to laugh kind of thing. Because that is hilarious. They're just like saying stupid shit.
Just being silly, making a movie, man. It's like giving It's like giving us three a Patreon to do this show. It's like giving us three a budget to make a movie where we just do our thing.
Yeah.
So it like, I think that's beautiful.
Well, and they had such a terrible time filming this movie.
They did.
The actors are they look back on this not very fondly. They're like, it was terrible. But you think about that in a negative way going, oh, did they not get along? It's like, no, they clearly loved being around each other and making each other. That might have been the only saving grace in this movie is that they were there together having funny scenes and having funny moments. But the rest of it was just a fucking nightmare.
Well, even
they
like
hated it.
Even like last week with Jaws, they like,
oh God,
as soon as filming wrapped on Jaws, Steven Spielberg was like, I think they're gonna throw me off this fucking boat because they were threatening him just like, this is such a bad time and we had such a horrible time working with you, and he was such like a monarch. Yeah. But I think when you go to like, you film on location like this movie in Scotland, you film on location and you have all these delays with like weather and everything like that. You're going to get something good out of it because you've struggled so much.
Yeah.
I think there's something to that where like Spielberg was like, no, we're going to film this movie on the ocean. And it's like, why are you doing that? We could just film it in a pool. We want to be authentic as possible. Yeah. But when you have that happen and when you film on location in Scotland like these guys did, you're going to have weather and everything affect you. But I think it makes you more creative. And I think it
agree.
makes a better product.
I've heard that. We've heard that before, and like, yeah, it forces you. It forces your creativity.
Yes.
You have to work around this. There is no other option, and it always ends up being a better product.
Yeah.
Well, scene 2, Arthur recruits Sir Bedivere the Wise, Sir Lancelot the Brave, Sir Galahad the Pure, and Sir Robin the not quite so brave as Sir Lancelot. Arthur leads the knights to Camelot, but as they turn away, God appears and orders Arthur to find the Holy Grail. Arthur and his knights unsuccessfully storm a French castle. Arthur decides the knights should go their separate ways to search for the Grail.
Hell yeah, dude.
I still think to this day one of the hardest I laugh is when they get to they're like Camelot and they're doing the dance.
The whole dance scene is so good.
But individually in that, when there's like blah 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 blah, and then it cuts to the old man chained up and he's clapping, and the music goes to like kind of quiet because he's in the dungeon, but you can hear it, and he looks really happy. I don't know why that's so fucking.
He's hearing
funny
it
to
from
me.
above
Yes.
him.
It's so that's something that you could write in a script and somebody would be like, take that out of the
why are we
script.
doing
We don't
this?
need
Just
that
a
in the script.
random like musical
No,
montage.
don't just don't.
Yeah, exactly. It's
Yeah.
like, we don't have a budget. Why are you writing a song?
And it's all them again. All the guys doing the
Exactly.
dances is all of them.
Like ham and jam and spam a lot. Like I love that. Just like the Knights of Camelot. Ham and jam and spam a lot.
Yeah.
It's just one of the lines from there.
Never
The
mind.
lyrics,
We shouldn't go there. It is a silly place.
They just there it is. We're at Camelot. We're not gonna go in.
And that's probably what their original script was probably like. Yeah, we're actually going to go into camp. Oh, we don't have rights to film that castle, so let's
Exactly.
just rewrite it and go somewhere else.
Yes.
I think
It's
that's
just like these morons who got money to make a movie. I love it.
From bands that they idolized. That'd be like Bert Kreischer being like, "Hey guys, here's $400,000. Improve your podcast."
Yeah. It'd be like Fred Durst giving us money to go on tour.
exactly.
Or Good Charlotte.
or Good Charlotte. This is one of those things. The way that this is one of
Go
those
fuck yourself.
way that one of the ways that I like describe this type of comedy. I think about it all the time because of all these movies that I love that are spawned from this, and it's not breaking the fourth wall all the time to me, but I think it's thinking outside the fourth wall because they're fully aware of it, but they don't always let you in on it. They are trying to think outside. And I don't know. It's very tough to describe because they aren't going to break it every time. It's not Dark Helmet saying everybody got that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It's a little bit smarter. It's a little bit smarter than
Yeah.
that. Like a little bit more cheeky, I guess.
yeah. It's a little bit more cheap.
Yeah, it's a little more cheap.
A little
really
more
is.
cheap. It's like
Yeah.
they have what they have,
Yeah.
and they're realizing that they're making a movie, and they're realizing the audience watching the movie is watching a movie.
Right.
So they're saying they're gonna be like, oh, that's the guy from Scene 24. You know, it's
Yeah.
I know what you're
Yeah.
saying. It is hard to explain,
Yeah.
but it is. If you are into that kind of humor, like you are totally in.
Yeah.
You know, and if
Right.
you aren't, then you're giving it a 1 star and saying don't come this way.
Yeah.
Detour.
Detour.
And you've got like some of that animation so funny to me, like the trumpets out of the butt. Like that used to make me laugh so much.
Oh,
as a kid,
gosh.
where they're bent over. They're
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, and the guy that jumps over and flips around and his skirt falls down and
Yeah.
his butt's out like that. That was always so funny to me as a kid. Then you get like the God scene. Like I think that's hilarious. They clearly have. If you've seen Life of Brian, like they have an aversion to religion, and it's just funny how I love how they present God in this movie of just like, oh, stop! What are you doing? We're averting our eyes. Oh God, stop doing that! He's like this. You're like, why is everybody doing that? It's so funny to me.
Well, we haven't mentioned it yet, but like all the influences that this came off of, South Park.
Oh my God.
I mean, that animation is just like clearly.
It is.
Terry Gilliam did all that animation apparently. He's the guy later who drops dead of the animation.
Oh,
that's
right.
Terry Gilliam. Yeah, I mean it's so good in that way. Yeah.
It's a blessing from the Lord. I love how he delivers that line.
I just like I want to read just a little bit of their song because it's just very
What
funny
song?
to me of the
Please.
the Camelot song.
Please.
So like the
It's
first one
just
says,
such a quick scene.
yeah, it's so fast, and I don't think people realize what they're really. We're Knights of the Round Table. We dance whenever we're able. We do routines and chorus scenes with footwork impeccable. We dine well here. Impeccable. Yes, thank you. We dine well here in Camelot. We eat ham and jam and spam a lot.
Thank you. Yes, I love that.
Oh my God! That's where Spamalot comes from, right?
Yeah.
Oh my God!
It's just so good. We're Knights of the Round Table. Our shows are formidable.
Or no, our shows are
formidable.
Formidable. But many times we're given rhymes that are quite unsingable.
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 That's so fucking dumb.
We're opera mad in Camelot. We sing from the diaphragm a lot.
Is that he says we sing from the diaphragm?
Diaphragm a lot.
Never mind. Never mind. We shouldn't go there. It's a silly place. I wouldn't go there.
Oh my gosh.
I don't want to see that.
It's just like it's so funny. In war we're tough and able, quite indefeatable. Between our quests, we seek win vests and impersonate Clark Gable.
Which
it's
makes
a
no
busy
sense.
life in Camelot.
Oh, it's so good.
It's like
Like,
where
they
all
could've
their money went to.
They could have easily just not had that in the movie. But
Yes.
they're like, no, this is funny.
Are we too
French?
The French.
Yeah, we're at the French. If that's what
Okay.
you're looking for,
Yeah, the French. I think that's John Cleese up there, right?
it definitely is.
Okay.
Yes.
The just every single bit of his dialogue is like what you think of when you think of this movie,
Yes.
right? Like when you look up like Monty Python and the Holy Grail, you're gonna get like, oh, a clip of this scene.
Yes.
You know.
You think I fart in your general direction. Like you think that immediately when you think of Monty Python and the
Yeah.
Holy Grail. What was weird though, I haven't gone back to figure this out. He goes, so they are French. They're French soldiers, right?
Mm-hmm.
But he turns to him, he goes, I told him we're French or something like that. Didn't it?
Yeah.
Or is he just is it a joke that he's overplaying like the French accent just to be a funny guy? Or I couldn't figure
Yeah,
that.
it could be.
Because then he turns and he goes, I told him we're French.
Yeah.
And he says it in a normal voice almost while they're snickering back there.
Yeah. There's something about that we're like he's in on the joke as well. But there's also something about like his
I know the way he's holding
I
this
don't know what it is about just like his hands like gripping the edge of the castle, just like and I fought in your general direction. He's just keeping these here.
Your father was a hamster. And he says, fetches lavage. Fetches lavage. You know what that stands for? It's French for?
No.
Fetch the cow. Like it was really,
Dude,
fetch a lavage.
the fact that they launch animals at them. But like it's so brilliant because they obviously most of them are fake and you can tell.
Yes.
Obviously most of them are fake and you can tell, but then there's like the occasional duck like flapping its wings, trying to get away and everything. So it's like they're doing good. You know, they're thinking of it's epitome of like farce and reality.
Correct.
It's Terry Jones and Terry Gilliam in
Kind
that
of
one
meeting
shot.
together.
It's like the fake shit and then the real shit. It makes it better, you know.
I love it.
Then you hear they're making. I have an idea, and they're making the Trojan horse. But you hear like power tools happening in the forest, like a saw, a blade saw, and he does the like the over animated look. It's just so funny, and that's so dumb, but it's still so funny.
It is.
They're like, well, then what happens next? Well, then me and Lancelot and you jump out of the rabbit. Wait, we jump out of the. Like it's a dumb.
Jump
joke.
out of the rat.
Well, wait. What if we? But they're like the only people that can make that work. I
Yes.
feel, you know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and you kind of see it coming a little bit.
Of course.
But also because you saw it coming, you're kind of like, it's satisfying.
Yeah.
Still works.
Yeah,
Still
I don't
works.
really care that I saw it coming.
Well, scene 3 on the Knights travels. Arthur and Bedivere run into the Knights who say knee. Sir Robin avoids a fight with a 3-headed knight. Sir Galahad is led by a grail-shaped beacon to Castle Anthrax, which is full of young women, but is unwillingly rescued by Lancelot. Lancelot receives an arrow-shot note from Swamp Castle and storms the castle. I'm pretty sure that the minstrels for Sir Robin are some of my favorite. Like,
Yes.
that guy, the guy that's doing the singing, is so perfect because
Definitely brave, not a pussy at all.
It's just funny because he goes, and with his eyes shot out and his liver caved in and his and then he goes, and his penis, and it stops and he goes, oh, stop that. It's like, what happens to his penis?
It's like how he's looking back the whole time. He's like,
Brave Sir Robin.
And he's doing this dance and he's tapping on a little tambourine while he's looking at Robin. I think they're one of the most understated parts of this movie is their minstrel part.
His head smashed in and his heart cut out and his liver removed and his bowels unplugged and his nostrils raped and his bottom burned off
And his
and his penis split and his
and he stops it right there. He goes, and his penis.
and his cuts. That's enough music for a while, lads.
Oh, it's so funny to me, man.
I'm very brave.
I'm very bad.
I'm very brave.
I'm very brave. I'm very brave.
The Knights who say knee, it's like you wanna hate this joke so much because it is, like AJ said, it is like the knee.
Yeah.
Like it's like, oh, it was funny. You've seen the movie, right? But it's really funny to me because who plays the one on the tall?
Oh,
That
maybe Eric Idle?
no, that's not Eric Idle.
In the center?
Who's the main one who's saying that? He's the one he's my favorite voice in them.
I think I think you're right.
Isn't that Graham Chapman?
it might be.
Because doesn't he also play Arthur?
No, Graham Chapman's Arthur.
Yeah,
so.
that's what I thought it was him
No.
again, to be honest.
He's the one that's I just think he's my favorite of the Monty Python, the way his voice is.
I
Something
think
like,
he's also
the way he
the one
delivers it.
describing the grenade later.
Yes,
I think so.
He is.
Okay.
He is, and I apologize to our listeners. I've never been good at knowing who was who in the.
There's a lot of them.
There's a lot of them, but I just love it. He's like, we require a shrub. Which one is that?
A shrub.
What does that say? Oh, Michael Palin. Yeah, he's
Nice.
the main one.
Okay.
So we require a shrub and something nice. Make it nice. And not too big.
not too big.
I just love his delivery in that. So like, I want to hate this scene because it's like the famous one, but it's still funny to me every time. In fact, the guys in the background going nee, and they kind of pop up and then go back down.
I know.
It's so funny to me,
It's
man.
really great.
Yeah,
And it's just like the entire crew or like the entire
yeah. It's
comedic
just everybody
troupe.
here. Put this weird costume on and sit back there.
and it's like they're in that scene and then they have to do their other scenes in another character in another costume.
Yep.
It's just like that's so much fun, man. Damn. I want to do this. Let's do this. Let's make a movie.
All right.
Let's do it.
Come on.
Who's got $400,000 for us
Yeah.
with inflation?
With inflation.
What is that?
A million,
What,
maybe.
from
It's like a
75?
million. It's like $1 million.
Okay.
It's got to be.
The Cathal, I can't say it. Castle.
What's going on?
Castle Anthrax
Yeah.
is funny to me because I remember as like a teenager watching this, just being like, this is. Oh, why doesn't he want to stay?
This is awesome.
This is awesome.
Oh,
Like,
they want to suck
they
his
should
dick.
just lock the door and he should just stay there forever.
The only thing young Mike needs is a Jaws.
That's all.
Is a shark to come out and
Hey!
turn him on.
Hey, we don't talk about that anymore.
Will you let it go? It's like
and they all have such weird names. Like it's Zoot and it's there's a bunch of weird names. Come,
Just suit.
just Zoot. Oh, naughty, bad, stupid Zoot. Yeah, I think that's pretty funny.
They're all nurses?
they're
They can't all be nurses. I love that. What would you do? I mean, like, truly.
Galahad.
Would you be overwhelmed? Or could you handle that kind of thing?
What?
That kind of Beatlemania. You know what I'm talking about?
Beatlemania.
The Beatlemania.
Well, first thing we talked about this in Reservoir Dogs. Like, lock the door.
Yeah.
That's the first thing I would do is
Lock
be
the
like,
door.
well, turn that beacon off, lock these doors.
What does he say? He comes in to save them. He saves them.
Lancelot comes in to save him.
I think I'm good here.
He's like,
He
oh,
finally comes around. He goes, no, I'm good here. I'm
I'm
good.
good. I think we're good. I think I'm good. Like,
I think there's a thing at the end of that. He goes, you're probably gay or something like that. He goes,
Yeah.
No, I'm not. I think he says that to Lancelot.
oh,
He goes, we can stay there together. He goes, no, we don't want to do this. you're gay. Aren't you?" No.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't. Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't matter.
I guess like in traditional lore, like Lancelot is supposed to be Galahad's father or something like that. So it sort of makes sense that he was like coming to his rescue. Something about that in old lore, I guess.
I mean, they are basing all this
Yeah.
stuff off of that original story, and it's like they're keeping to like it's kind of like the Green Knight. Like I think Gawain is in this story.
Yeah.
Some like one he's mentioned like one time in
Really?
this. He's like one of the Knights of the Round Table, I think.
Knights of the Round Table.
But like we'll get to it at the end, I think. But it's kind of just like a LARP.
It's basically a LARP.
Kind of is.
Yeah.
Speaking of maybe my favorite scene in the movie is the whole Swamp Castle thing.
It's really fun.
From start to finish, from the king and the son in the top of the castle to the storming of it. The kid, I'm just going to keep resorting this to modern day. The son in the castle who keeps wanting to sing is basically like a modern kid and like wanting to do TikTok dances all the time.
Yes.
Like, but
Wow.
hold on, I gotta do this dance.
Yeah.
He's like, stop that. I feel like I'll be that way with Willa. Like, Willa's, not everything's a TikTok dance. What are we doing here?
Yeah.
Stop that.
Stop that.
And the bit, I think they asked a lot of the dudes from Monty Python, like, what your favorite bit was from the, and a lot of them said this scene,
Yes.
we're not to leave unless anyone else comes in to get him. And like, no, wait, what? No, so we leave and then no one else comes in to get him. Like, hold on, that's not what I said. A lot of them say that that's one of their favorite
It is
bits
so
of this
good.
It's
movie.
so
because
smart.
it's
Yeah.
like it's beating the bit to
Yes.
death and then reviving it again.
Yeah.
That's what they do constantly.
Yes.
And I don't know how they do it so congruently, one next to another. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't let him leave unless I come back and say we won't let him leave as long as we're here. Like what? It's like
Wait, what?
I don't think you're getting it.
no. It's like,
And even when the son, like, he gets the idea to write on the note, and he writes on the note, and he walks over and he shoots the arrow, they keeps cutting back to them, and they're going,
yeah.
they're just kind of staring at
Yeah,
him.
we
going,
got it.
Yeah,
We're pretty good at this.
And then even when he storms the castle and he runs in, he goes, aha, and he goes, now we're not supposed to let you in, and he gets killed real quick.
Yeah.
But that running at the camera thing,
It's so funny.
did you hear that supposedly, so that was one of the last scenes they filmed.
Yes.
And they did it like in London.
They did it in London. Yeah.
In a park, and I guess he was standing there because that was John Cleese back there,
Mm-hmm.
and he was standing there in full like knight's regalia, backed by this force, and people were walking by. They're like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Nothing." He's just waiting for like a visual cue for them to like, "All right, come on, start running. We're filming." So he's just standing there in knight's armor, like in some park in London.
There's footage of him because they didn't like the original take that they had of him running in Scotland. So and he was like flailing like this.
That was the joke.
And I don't know if they directed him to do that or if he just like kind of ran like that because the uneven ground in Scotland. I don't know. But in London, they just didn't like that take, so they did it again in London and got this take and just like used it over and over again.
So initially they probably weren't going to do the over and over thing, right?
I don't know, maybe.
I think it is again. You guys ever seen the movie Kung Pao? They did this in Kung Pao.
Yeah.
Where
Same
they
thing.
just same thing where you see him and he's running. And then they'll show another clip where he's a little closer, and then the next clip after that, he's further back again. He's just like,
We've talked about this in another
I
movie, which is
swear.
why you brought this up.
Yes.
It's another movie we did this in.
It all stems from this movie, man. And then it's so funny. They do that 4 or 5 times in this, and then all of a sudden he's just there, just
So that's like what they're saying in cinema, man. Like they're just like commenting on their like this. No, we're breaking down the walls of like traditional cinema and like tension building
Yes.
in traditional cinema. We're just gonna do this and make it our own. It's just so
And
funny.
the timpani, it's the same thing. The sound design, like they show him running, it's going. Cuts back
Yes.
to
Just nothing.
and it's the same thing. It's hilarious, and then it's like, oh, they're gonna keep doing this, huh?
Yeah.
And then it's hilarious again. Aha! And then he's back.
And he kills everybody he sees.
I tried to count. I think he kills like 24 people in that scene because the whole body count in this movie is 54. That's
Oh my
a big
gosh.
body count.
That's huge.
And I'm pretty sure he does half of them in this scene. He just and then he even chops the flowers off the wall.
yeah.
Oh, I have to mention that he the historian, the
Yes,
random
yes.
historian that gets cut down, and then the cops they keep creeping creeping in on this production.
Yes.
We'll just give that a little tease because that's what the movie does.
It's so great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else on that scene? Should we move along?
I think I am good.
So scene 4, Arthur and his knights regroup and meet Tim the Enchanter, who directs them to a cave where the location of the Grail is said to be written. A killer rabbit battle takes place. Inside the cave, they find an inscription directing them to Castle Arg. An animated cave monster devours Brother Maynard, and Arthur and the knights escape after the animator unexpectedly suffers a fatal heart attack. Apparently, John Cleese, as Tim the Enchanter, apparently he actually was on those rocks, those like crazy little pillars where he was doing the pyrotechnics.
Yeah.
And I guess they didn't have the budget. They're like, we really need you to stand up there. And he could have been one step away from just falling to his death up there.
Yeah.
Because it was truly, if you go back and look at it, he's just on this weird little real pinnacle rock just sitting there going, "Gah, gah." It's
my
nuts.
God.
I mean,
He's
they
either
fully committed.
one step from his death or one step from being like extremely maimed for the rest of his life. Yeah.
Stand there. And I
Jeez.
guess he would crouch down when the wind would get really whipping and heavy.
Oh,
He
yeah.
would like kind of crouch down and hold his
Mhm.
balance. And then, okay, I think the wind went away. Action.
And I think there's
nuts.
a myth too where he's like, "What is your name?" "I'm Tim." I think he
They
forgot.
call me.
They think he
Tim?
forgot his line.
Really?
Forgot like what his name was actually supposed to be in the script, so he just came up with like, Tim, and it was just funny.
Oh, okay.
So they just kind of kept it. I'm like, yeah, fuck yeah.
But it's not true, though.
I don't know. It's a myth.
I think I saw that, and I think it was a myth for a long time, but I think he went against that, and he's like, no, that was in the
John
script.
Cleese did.
I think he
Yeah.
said that.
Okay.
Mm.
I'm going to believe your story, though.
Well, it's funny.
I like it.
Yeah.
Tim the Enchanter. That's a hilarious
Tim the
role.
Enchanter.
They call me Tim.
Dim. Oh fuck.
Yeah. So like, and I think that this is some of the funniest stuff here too. Like, the killer rabbit scene is hilarious to me because Tim's doing like his spitting monologue where all this spit's coming out of his mouth.
Yeah.
And fangs and teeth. And he's just spitting everywhere. And I love how they get there. And John Cleese's delivery of the look, it's just a rabbit. He goes, and then it's just so funny that like you're doing what the cast is doing. You're going, I'm scared of this cave monster.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just a bunny rabbit. Oh shit, it's a killer bunny rabbit. And there's like blood all over the rabbit and shit. Those scenes were incredible.
Yeah. I think like, and this is like one of the most contentious kind of filmmaking parts in this movie was like they borrowed that rabbit from like some owner of a white rabbit.
What?
And they had to do it was such a low budget they had to distract the owner on set
Oh no.
to make sure they could like bloody the real rabbit up.
Oh my god.
And then while they were distracting it, they were like trying to clean it as like fast as possible on set. Like, oh shit, she's fucking looking. Oh shit, and like she actually looked over and like they couldn't get like the red dye out of the rabbit in time, and she was like really fucking pissed. It's just like goes to show like they even said themselves like Terry Gilliam and Terry Jones were like we could have just made our filmmaking prowess and been like we could just bought a rabbit.
Yeah. They
And
needed
not
a real
borrowed one.
But I like that it was a real one. I like that it comes
Yeah.
up and just goes,
Yeah.
It is.
just a bunny
It's
rabbit.
a good performer.
It really is. If I were like, let's think in 30 years ago, like an animal that I had, if it could have been immortalized in film and it was no longer with us, I'd be like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah. Let's be honest.
That's Felix, my bunny.
Yeah.
You named it after your glasses, huh?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
You're a shill.
The holy hand grenade of Antioch has always made me laugh so
So
fucking
good.
much because I always think it looks like a bottle of Chambord.
Yeah.
The raspberry liqueur.
Yes.
So anytime we get Chambord, we're like, the holy hand grenade of Antioch, thou shalt pulleth the pin and lobbeth in thy enemy's direction,
And
and
the-
blow them to tiny bits. Amen. It's just skip to the good part. the guy just follows them around. They were never there, and there's just guys with books and like little grenades. These are like religious guys just appear out of nowhere. It's so awesome.
I think going back to Tim the Enchanter, I think they kind of come across who is Tim the Enchanter, but it could also be like a Rob Zombie kind of testing his pyrotechnics out for his next show. It looks like.
Think
I
so?
think that's kind of what he looks like.
You think so?
Think so?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
I think
Tim the
that's-
Enchanter.
Yeah.
Think Rob Zombie took his
Also a
look
band
from
name.
Tim the Enchanter.
That's my band name.
You can't have it.
I mean, it's mine.
You can't have it.
Prop.
If it's pertinent to someone.
Hit me a prop.
Oh.
Ooh, here's a prop.
I did it unknowingly.
I'm taking that grenade.
You can't.
That's my grenade.
You're gonna take the holy hand grenade of
You
Antioch?
bet I am.
Does it come like in the box and it's got like the
Comes with the box and also the speech.
Okay, so like that guy is part of it. He stands there and he's ready to read it to you.
100%.
That's bullshit. AJ, you got
That's
one?
a good one.
I got one.
You go for it.
I want the dragon boat. That boat that comes out of the mist that they ride over across the moat.
Pretty dope.
I want to take that to like Coralville Lake. And I want to ride it. I want to just like roll around Coralville with a dragon boat.
Coralville Lake with a dragon boat.
Yeah, that's what I want to do.
I want the two birds with the coconut tied. Because it's one thing technically, because it's all tied together.
All right.
Is that okay?
All right.
Assuming that they can actually.
Yeah, actually carry it. Well, if it's an African swallow, but I'm fine with that.
What do you think about all the artist renderings here, like the cave monster and like that? Is that just the cheap way out of telling the story, or is it?
It definitely is.
Yeah.
Like for real. It's they're them saving money, telling the story kind of, but they're also making fun of it, like with having like gorilla hands turn the page and
right.
shit. It's just like what? It's just like I don't care. It's kind of funny. Like it's just such a, like all these bits are like such a high thought.
Yeah.
It's like I don't know, have a fucking gorilla hand. I don't care.
Do you want to play the hand? Sure.
Yeah, whatever. And
Just another silly thing for them to do
Yeah.
and just throw you off a little bit.
Yeah.
it's like they're making fun of the fact that they have no money to do this movie.
Okay.
It just they're just gonna keep that bit going
Yeah.
essentially.
Yeah.
Okay. I
Okay.
like that. I'm fine with that.
All right. Well, last scene, the knights approach the Bridge of Death, and only Arthur and Bedivere survive. Unable to find Lancelot, they reach Castle Arg, but find it occupied by the French soldiers. They summon an army of knights and prepare to assault the castle. As the army charges, the police arrive, arrest Arthur and Bedivere, and break the camera, ending the film.
Pretty sure every time there's like a mythical bridge keeper and everything like that, it is definitely played by Willem Dafoe. Pretty
That's
sure,
not Willem Dafoe,
Pretty
is it?
sure that was him, and he portrays that in The Lighthouse and in The Northman
Okay.
over and over again. I think that's him.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that is Willem Dafoe.
You can't have a scraggly guy to tell wisdom to a audience of subjectivity.
Yep.
You can't have that without Willem Dafoe, and I think that is him.
It's such a dumb scene. Like the oh, that was easy. Let me go over there.
Yeah.
What is your
What's
name?
your favorite color?
Blue. Oh, green. Ah! Or he says, what is your name? He says, wow, that's easy. What is your name? What is your quest? What is the air speed and velocity of an unladen swallow?
Unladen
Well, I don't know that.
An African or European swallow?
Do you know what the airspeed velocity of an unladen swallow is?
Please tell us.
So if we're only talking European swallows here, 24 miles an hour.
Okay, damn.
Yeah,
That's fast.
I think that's strong enough to carry some
I
coconuts.
would feel so.
Yeah,
Yeah, two of them together with a string.
yeah. Two of them together.
And such a weird placement for this intermission.
Yeah.
Intermission. It's
I love the
10
music.
seconds long, and it's right in the middle of a scene.
It's such like, it reminds me of like David Lynch, and I know it's like purely Terry Gilliam kind of territory, but it reminds me of David Lynch along with Terry Gilliam kind of mixed together. It's just like a weird, like this exists on a plane where I don't know. It's like only in that realm of David Lynch and Terry Gilliam could do. I don't know. It's so cool to me.
Yeah, I agree.
I just love that you don't get to just get away with what would be normally considered just lazy writing.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, African or European swallow. It's like, well, I don't know. And then it's done. It's like, cool. It's like, well, how do you know that? It's like, well, you got to know these things when you're a king. It's just like, okay.
It's so lazy.
It's so lazy.
But they know it.
I know.
And they're in on it.
Exactly.
It's so fun.
And that is, again, that just comes back to my thing about thinking outside the fourth wall. They're thinking about, yeah, we know this is lazy writing, and people we're trusting the audience to find it funny and know that we know. You know?
And then when you're thinking like, get on with it,
Yeah.
they play
Get on with
and
it.
they're like, people further on in the movie are like, get on
Get
with
on
it.
with
We're
it.
trying to get to our part.
Yeah, that's right.
It's so good.
And that's the thing with like the whole ending of this movie too, was just like they just ran out of money and they're just like they were gonna have
There was going to be a big battle.
there was
wasn't
gonna be
there?
a huge battle. They just like didn't have enough money, so they're just like, we'll just have it end with like these LARPers went crazy.
It's LARPing.
That's right. That's what happened,
It's
right?
basically LARPing.
These LARPers just went crazy.
Oh my god.
That's what happens.
That's just
Because this is the real. This is not ancient civilization. This is just some crazy people
Yeah.
like doing LARPing
Yeah.
in the modern world. Right?
Yeah.
Like, is that what's happening?
That's
here?
what we're-
not actually in 932 AD.
No.
We're in
We're in
1975.
the real world where a historian exists who's telling the story
And
of
cops.
Camelot. Yeah.
and cops.
Constables.
I've actually never done that thought in my head. I've always just been like, oh yeah, the cops come and it ends, but it's still AD. It's like, wait, what? No.
And these LARPers just got carried away.
I
guess.
love the chaos of that too. Like the camera's moving around these people and they're like, and they're all getting arrested. Everything's all weird. And then
Yeah.
they just break the camera.
Yeah.
And then it cuts to black for like 4 minutes while it just plays a song
Yep.
Yeah.
with no end credits.
No end credits and nothing.
What the
I think that's also a joke. I think it's just also like,
has to
hey,
be.
you watch this movie for this long and now you get this.
Did you sit through the whole end screen to see if something happened after
Absolutely.
it? I did too. And
Yes.
nothing happened.
Nothing
It
happened.
ended.
It's like that's like The Sopranos. it's like as bad as The Sopranos.
He
man.
looks up and that's it.
Yeah, like that's all that happens. It just cuts to black for 5 minutes, and you're just like, I guess that happened to my life for this duration. That's it.
Yeah.
It's over.
I don't know. It's a pretty. That's like my gripes of this movie is like the beginning is so good and just chocked full of funny scene after funny scene, and then
Yeah.
it slowly like unwinds itself, and it feels like it gets lazier as it goes on. And I generally find myself losing interest every time I watch this movie as it goes on.
Yeah.
My favorite parts of the movie end about halfway through,
Yeah.
Sure.
and then it's like, oh, okay, yeah, okay. If I don't watch the rest of it, no big deal.
Well, tell us about it.
Do you feel that way?
Yeah.
I mean,
Maybe.
maybe we do.
Are we done?
Yeah, I think I'm
Want to
good.
move on?
Yeah.
I think you're there.
All right,
Think
we
we're
have
there.
we have dissected this with a modern eye. We stripped away the nostalgia. We want to know what our modern day ratings are. AJ, what do you got on this movie, man?
I do think it's very funny and it's very smart, and I appreciate it much more now than I ever did. I just think that, again, do I think this movie is like phenomenal? I don't know. I think I do know one thing, that if without something like this happening, without Monty Python happening, we don't have a lot of the amazing comedy like we talked about earlier. So many things will stem from it, and for that you just have to give credit where credit is due.
Yep.
And yes, still saying there is some very funny stuff that is in this movie, but the content is just. It's obnoxious. Like the plot, there's no plot. Like they say there's a plot. There's no plot. They're searching for a Holy Grail, I guess. Like, they're just, it's just sketch comedy in a movie. And that being said, I think that I'm going to go ahead and give this a 6. Straight up.
Ooh.
A straight up 6.
Ooh. Shaun, what do you think, man?
Watching this for the second time in my entire life, this time around, I think that I loved everything that they were suggesting. I loved everything that like came after this. We don't have What Out American Summer without this movie. We don't have a lot of the Zuckers. We don't have like a lot of my comedy that I like kind of just like farcical comedy.
Yeah.
Like I seeing the ridiculousness in serious subjects. I find that to be like how I live. I find that to be how I like kind of get by in real life. That being said, I think it does as a movie kind of drag on a little bit towards the end. But I also really appreciate how they kind of noticed that as a movie themselves, and we're just like, yeah, we're running out of money, so we're just gonna kind of end the movie. I don't know. It's hard for me because I want to make a movie like this. It's kind of like my dream to just kind of like, I think these things are funny. and I hope other people do too by just showing you them. And I really appreciate that. I'm gonna go, man.
It's hard, dude.
I'm gonna go straight up 7.
Straight up 7 for the Shauners. I agree with everything you guys are saying. I think it does drag on. It's not a perfect movie. It drags on, and but the first half of the movie is so good, and is so funny and so ingrained into pop culture and everything that it's created. So for what it lacks in a finished product and a final, it makes up for in the beginning. So I do think of any movie that we have watched, this is the funniest comedy that we have done. And so looking back on my ratings, I had to take that into consideration. So of anything we've done so far, this is my favorite comedy we've done so far. I'm an 8.2.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Also, so David Gould, executive producer, he says there are just some movies that time cannot touch. Is this movie cheesy? Yes. Are the visuals dated? Yes. Are the jokes a little cheesy? Yes. Did my high school girlfriend have a messy breakup? Also, yes. But ex-loves aside, there are some things that make this movie perfect. I still laugh at the knights who formerly say knee. Quote, she turned me into a newt. And coming back to come running back to this film in a choppy sequence like Sir Lancelot. Monty Python and the Holy Grail is funny, clever, absurd, and timeless. This movie remains a top 5 comfort movie, and so it remains a 9.5 in my kingdom.
Okay.
So I think myself and David made up for your slightly lower score, so we are a 7.68 on the main meter of our post. 7.68 takes us about middle of the pack. That is slightly better than Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Slightly worse than Major League is what we're thinking. So I think that's still going to be pretty low on a lot of people's radars. I think a lot of people are going to be a lot higher on that.
I'd probably even rather watch this than Major League.
I'm just saying.
I'd probably do that, but I'd also, again, I'd probably rather watch Planes, Trains, and Automobiles than Monty Python. So we're at a weird place there, friends.
Our producing staff is not having a good time with us.
They are guffawing over there.
We hired a new production staff. They have now quit.
They're so mad.
We've been sacked.
We've been sacked.
Well, we hope you enjoyed this episode. Thanks for being here. Tune in next Wednesday for another great episode. Summer of 70s continues on. We move on to Warriors.
Yes.
AJ's Choice. And then we move on to executive producer picked Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
You bet.
Okay.
That's going to be a very fun one.
I can't wait for that.
Yeah. And if you're new to the podcast, go back this time last year. I don't know what it is because it still says Pete and Pete, and that's what I told you last week. So I'm going to here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to just keep talking as if I really have something really important to say. I'm just going to keep kind of saying words, and then that way you'll think that I'm actually getting to a point, and then eventually you'll be like, oh, he said what he was going to say. Stand by me.
Stand by me.
All right.
That might have been one of the first times we got real deep, I think.
Please check out that episode. I'm very proud of that episode. I think a lot of the research we did was really fun on that. In conclusion of that episode, I think a lot of the lessons learned was how adults failed you in that movie.
Yeah.
And I really kind of reiterate that. We don't say the words exactly in that episode, but I take those words and listen to that episode and enjoy, please.
Worth a rewatch.
Most definitely.
Re-listen. And we also have a voicemail. Call us at 319-804-9596. Here's today's voicemail.
Hey, guys. It's Mike, Michigan. Long-time listener, first-time caller. First off, I want to say I love the show. By far, my most listened to podcast. You guys are doing some great stuff with it. Born in 95, so many of the movies on here I didn't get a chance to watch as they came out, but your show brings me my own nostalgia. Growing up in the 2000s, my dad scrolling through the TV, stumbling on a favorite movie of his, and us watching it on a weekend afternoon. Episodes like Ghostbusters, The Burbs, Speed, Tommy Boy, Tremors, and much more, really bring back the memories of those weekend movie sessions. So thank you for that. Right now, I'm catching up on a few missed episodes. Just finished Top Gun. You mentioned it seems like a recruiting tool for the Navy. There's no doubt about that. But I want to recommend another movie that can also be seen as a recruiting tool for the Navy. I feel like it's not talked about as much. Instead of fighter jets and being a pilot, it depicts the work of a submariner. That's right. I'm talking about Down Periscope.
Ooh.
I have a large list of movies I hope you guys get to in the future. One of my favorite things is when you say at the end of the episode what's coming next.
Cool.
I always get so happy and excited when I hear one from my list named as the next episode. Thank you guys for this podcast. It's amazing. Keep up the great work.
Thank you so much for
Oh,
calling in, man. Appreciate it.
thank
Mike
you.
from Michigan, baby.
Thank
Nice
you, Mike.
name.
Down Periscope.
He's got a
Yeah.
cool name.
He's got a cool name.
Yeah, he's got a cool name.
Well, AJ, let's take us out, man. What do we got to do before we get out of here, man?
Make sure you guys are following us on all of our social media. Just search Confused Breakfast, any social media platform, and by all means, stop at confusedbreakfast.com.
Wow.
Hit all the links. Take you to all the things that we do.
Actually, if anyone out there is a web designer, our website's just a domain. It takes you to a link tree.
Yep.
So if anybody
Yep.
wants to make us a dope ass
Yeah.
website, you reach out.
Get
That'd be
on
great.
it.
We'll hang out with you.
You go to that same website, you can find some merch there, and you can get some shirts. You can get some lots of shirts. You can get some
Stickers,
a lot of
more shirts,
stickers. You can get some
coffee mugs.
Coffee mugs. I was gonna say that.
No.
Confusedbreakfast.com and get them there.
Okay, when I start saying this, then you can talk over me. So you
Okay.
can also go to patreon.com/confusedbreakfast. There's a lot of bonus audio content there.
So much
So
audio
much stuff.
content.
You can vote
get.
on episodes. There's a private Discord service. Sign up.
Sign up.
Sign up.
Okay, bye.
I gotta pee so
I gotta
fucking
pee.
bad.
Wait, hold on.